Assalamu alaikum. And this is our final Fairy Tale Friday. Little tip of the hat to my seniors. Te amo. I thought, in honor of those seniors, I would take the plunge today, just as they are soon to be taking the plunge, see what I did there, into the real world. Good luck. It's scary out here. Anyway, back to our story of Nur-ed-Din and Enis-el-Jelis from the 1001 Nights. What is going to happen? If you remember where we last left our story, Nur-ed-Din was about to be slain by his mortal enemy, El-Moin, son of Sawi. This was the guy he beat the crap out of in the town square one day, and then now Sawi looks like, El-Moin, the son of Sawi, looks like he's going to have his revenge. So Nur-ed-Din was brought to the town square for a public execution. And the people were excited to tears for him. And the executioner took some water to hand it to him. But the vizier arose from his place and struck the bowl of water with his hand and broke it and called to the executioner, commanding him to strike off his head. These are rough times for poor Nur-ed-Din. Whereupon the executioner bound Nur-ed-Din's eyes. The people, however, called out against the vizier and raised a tumultuous cry against him, and many words passed between them. And while they were in this state, lo, a dust rose and filled the sky and the open tracks. And when the Sultan beheld it, as he sat in the palace, he said to his attendants, "See, what is the news?" The vizier said, "After thou shalt first have beheaded this man." But the Sultan replied, "Wait thou until we see what is the news." Wow, what a cliffhanger. So much excitement. Who is this? I don't know. Now this dust was the dust of Jafar, the vizier of the Caliph, prince of the faithful, and of his attendants. And the cause of their coming was this. The Caliph had passed 30 days without remembering the affair of Nur-ed-Din. And no one mentioned it to him. See, we're old. We forget these things. Until he came one night to the private apartment of Enis-el-Jelis and heard her lamenting, as she recited with a soft voice the saying of the poet, "Thine image is before me, whether distant or near, and my tongue never ceaseth to mention thee." Upon hearing the voice of the fair Persian and suddenly calling to mind the promise, he sent for Jafar and ordered him to make for Basra with the utmost speed. If Nur-ed-Din were dead, to hang El-Moin, the son of Sawi. If he were still alive, to bring him at once to Baghdad, along with the king and El-Moin. Jafar rode at full speed through the square and alighted at the steps of the palace where the king came to greet him. The vizier's first question was whether Nur-ed-Din were still alive. The king replied that he was, and he was immediately led forth. Though bound hand and foot by the vizier's orders, his bonds were immediately undone. And El-Moin, son of Sawi, was tied with the same cords. Next day, Jafar returned to Baghdad, bearing with him the king, El-Moin, son of Sawi, and Nur-ed-Din. Wow. Saved by the bell. They then presented themselves before the Caliph and related to him the case of Nur-ed-Din. Whereupon the Khalifa addressed him, saying, "Take this sword and strike off with it the head of thine enemy." And Nur-ed-Din took it and approached El-Moin the son of Saul. But he looked at him and said to him, "I did according to my nature, and do thou according to thine." So again, we see a story of mercy, of love, of generosity, and charity. And Nur-ed-Din threw down the sword from his hand and, looking towards the Khalifa, said, "O Prince of the Faithful, he hath beguiled me." So the Khalifa said, "Do thou leave him?" And he said to Mesrer, "O Mesrer, advance thou." Mesrer's one of his slave attendants. And he said to Mesrer, "O Mesrer, advance thou, and strike off his head." Mesrer therefore did so. So yeah, we have a little mercy, but a little justice too. Mesrer therefore did so, and upon this the Khalifa said to Ali, "Nur-ed-Din, the son of El-Fadl, the son of Kakan, request of me what thou wilt." He replied, "O my lord, I have no want of the sovereignty of El-Basra." I don't know if you can hear the helicopter in the background there, but you know, when you grow up on the streets of Compton, it's Ice Kush. This was a pretty much everyday occurrence. Things don't change. He replied, "O my lord, I have no want of the sovereignty of El-Basra, and desire nothing but to have the honor of serving thee." "Most willingly I sent," said the Khalifa. And he summoned the damsel Enis-el-Jelis, and when she had come before him, he bestowed favors upon them both. He gave to them one of the palaces of Baghdad, and assigned to them regular allowances, and made Nur-ed-Din one of his companions at the table, and he remained with him until death overtook him. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you've enjoyed our Fairy Tale Fridays, even when they are on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday. Te amo. Vaya con Dios. And happy Ramadan.
Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crecen las palmas. Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crecen las palmas. Y antes de morir yo quiero rezar mis versos del alma. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera.